Every Saturday morning, like clockwork, I took my dog Luna to the same dog park on the edge of town. It became our little tradition. Me, sipping coffee on a cold bench while she ran through the open field chasing tennis balls and making new furry friends. For months, everything felt normal. Peaceful, even. The regulars knew each other by name, or at least by their dog's name, and there was a comfortable routine to it all. But a few weeks ago, something changed. It started when I noticed a man standing by the fence. He wasn't dressed like the usual park visitors. No leash in hand, no mud-splattered sneakers, and most importantly, no dog. At first I thought he might be waiting for someone, maybe watching a relative's pet, or just enjoying the view. But then he approached me. Luna trotted back to my side, completely unaware of the tension that suddenly filled the air. "You come here often?" he asked while smiling. His eyes didn't match the smile, though. They were flat. I forced a polite chuckle and nodded. "Every Saturday." He started asking more questions. "You live nearby? What's your dog's name? Do you come here alone? What do you do for work?" I gave vague answers, hoping he'd take the hint. He didn't. The next Saturday, he was there again. Not in the park this time, but walking the dirt trail that curved around the perimeter. I tried to ignore him, throwing Luna's ball a little further than usual, keeping my distance. That's when I noticed the phone in his hand, pointed directly at me. At first I thought I was imagining it, but no. He wasn't even trying to hide it. The next week, the same thing. And the week after that. The other dog owners started noticing too. I overheard one woman whisper to her friend he was taking pictures of her daughter while she played with our beagle. The tension at the park grew heavier every Saturday. A few of us decided enough was enough and filed a formal complaint with the city. The park staff brought it to the attention of the police. That following weekend, he showed up again, this time standing at the trailhead. But so did the cops. I watched from the far end of the park as two officers approached him. They asked him a few questions and then requested his phone. That's when his expression changed. He resisted briefly, but eventually handed it over. What they found chilled me to the bone. His photo gallery was filled with hundreds of images. Me, other women, and even children, all taken at the dog park. He had screenshots of social media profiles, saved photos from accounts that had been public, and lists of names. But it got worse. When the police searched his car parked along the curb, they found a shovel in the trunk, black trash bags, a folded tarp, a ski mask, and rope. It wasn't just bizarre anymore. It was terrifying. He hadn't technically done anything illegal, at least not at first glance, but the evidence painted a disturbing picture. They took him in for questioning, and for a while, the park was quiet again. Even now, weeks later, the memory sticks with me. I can't stop thinking. Was he planning something? Was he stalking me or someone else? What if the police hadn't gotten involved in time? I still take Luna to the park, just not every Saturday. Not on a schedule anymore, and never alone. Because even in a place as innocent as a dog park, you never really know who's watching. I live in a smaller town in upstate New York, not quite rural, but not close enough to anything that would be considered busy. It's mostly woods, houses spaced far apart, and a few community spots scattered around. One of those spots is the local dog park. Barely maintained, mostly grass and trees with a single path that loops through a patch of woods behind the main field. I've been going there every Saturday morning with my golden retriever Charlie for years now. It was peaceful, familiar, and our routine. It was my version of church, I guess, until 3 weeks ago when I met him. It was a chilly morning, sun still behind the clouds, and there weren't many people at the park. Just me, Charlie, and what I thought was another early riser sitting on the bench. He looked out of place immediately. He wasn't dressed like someone walking a dog. He wore these long, layered robes, dark green, almost moss-colored, with symbols I didn't recognize embroidered across the shoulders. His beard was long and tangled, almost gray, and clutched something to his chest like it was sacred. At first I thought it was a book, but when I got closer, I saw it was this strange, polished wooden box covered in carvings. Spirals, suns, eyes. He watched Charlie run around for a while before finally speaking up. "That's a good animal. Loyal, gentle, uncorrupted." I chuckled nervously, trying to be polite. "Yeah, he's a good boy." Then he said, "He can be saved, you know, but he's not the only one." I stopped. "Excuse me?" He looked at me and then really looked at me, eyes wide, like he had just realized something profound. "You have it too. The flicker. That small red spark. You've seen things, felt things. You know the veil is thin here, don't you?" That's when I took a step back. I asked if he was part of the church or something, just trying to ground the conversation in something normal. But he shook his head and smiled. That kind of smile that people wear when they know something you don't. No, not church. Not their church. I belong to the Hands of the Hollow Sun. We don't kneel to false names. Hands of the Hollow Sun. I have never heard anything like that. It sounded made up, but the way he said it made my skin crawl. I got Charlie back on the leash and made some excuse to leave. I didn't want to cause a scene, but I also didn't want to hear another word out of this guy's mouth. As I turned away, he called out behind me, "You'll be back. They always come back. The hollow sun rises for all, even in the dark." I didn't sleep much that night. The next weekend I debated not going, but I figured maybe it was a one-time thing, just a local weirdo. Maybe he moved on. He hadn't. This time he was already waiting by the tree. No box, just his hands collapsed tightly in front of him, head bowed like he was praying. When Charlie and I stepped into the field, he lifted his head and smiled. "You came back. That means you're listening." I didn't respond. I just threw the ball for Charlie, trying to pretend he wasn't there. But he kept talking, loud enough that I had to hear. "You know they bury them under here, don't you? The ones that reject the flame. The hollow sun gives, but it also consumes." He pointed to the ground. "The dogs hear them. That's why they bark at nothing. But when it's not nothing, it's what's left." I felt sick. Charlie suddenly froze mid-run and started barking at the trees. There was nothing there, or so I thought. That night when I got home, there was something on my front porch. A small square envelope, no stamp, and no return address. Inside was a single photo. It was me and Charlie at the park, taken from the tree line. On the back, in smeared black ink, was a sentence, "You can both still be saved." I didn't go back to the park the next weekend, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. About him. About what he said. About what Charlie had growled at. I started researching Hands of the Hollow Sun. Nothing. No websites, no mentions in forums, not even Reddit. But then I stumbled across this archived blog from 2009. It was half broken, but there were mentions of a group with a similar name, a cult maybe, believed in some kind of solar rebirth, said that the sun wasn't a star, it was a being, and that when the veil burns away, it would consume all unclean light. One post mentioned rituals involving animals. Another talked about something they called the pairing. It didn't explain much, but it felt too close what I had heard. Too specific. 2 nights ago, I took Charlie out to the backyard around midnight. He stopped at the edge of the grass and wouldn't move. Just stared. I looked too. There was a man standing just beyond the tree line. I couldn't see his face, but I didn't need to. The robes were enough. He didn't move, didn't speak, but he lifted both hands, slowly, palms out, and in one hand he was holding something small. It glowed slightly in the dark, flickering like a dying firefly. It was Charlie's name tag. Charlie was standing right next to me. I called the police, of course. They found footprints, nothing else. Said it was probably just some disturbed guy trying to scare me. But yesterday I found something buried in the flower bed by my porch. It was a box. Polished wood covered in carvings. I didn't open it. I already knew what's inside. They said my dog could be saved, but they never asked if I wanted to be. Now I'm afraid it's not a choice anymore. Because some nights when I wake up, Charlie isn't on the bed. He's just standing by the window, staring at the sun, even when it's still dark outside. Remember, not every light in the sky is meant to guide you, and not every stranger is just a weirdo with a sermon. Sometimes they're looking for someone to bring home.